Zeki, what's the facts, nigga?
All right, easy. Starting in a count of 10. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, fellas, and what's up, guys? Everybody that's out there in the Pro Am Nation. This is NAPX League Press here and live officially on the Twitch channel of NAPX. I am your host, Von the Gamer, or Von the Journal. Basically with Coach Easy of the Liquid organization. He is here, has a guest for tonight. Liquid is always on the rise, and Easy is one of the best coaches out there. Easy, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, y'all? How we doing tonight, man? Feeling good, man. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to talk some Pro-Am basketball and what has we recapped throughout most of the week, and we're going to go over some of the games, some of the critical bullet points of tonight. Obviously, we're going over the Hornets Venom Opens that happened, the finals for the PS5 and Xbox side. We're going to be also discussing the MPBA Gauntlet from both sides of PS5 and Xbox. We're going to be focusing again on the Xbox game between Liquid and Empire, since that is the only game that has made to the finals. Then we're going to be talking about, obviously, the NBA Draft Lottery, and also the prospect badges that's been given out so far as eligibility. And obviously going over champs, mock draft, and giving our predictions from that point on, and ending with a closing argument about a certain question that's been bugging out the Pro-Am stage so far. So Easy, are you ready to get started, man?
Let's do it, man. Like it's crazy how it just felt like the game just dropped and we already went past the first prospect tourney.
Yeah, man. I'm ready to go. And speaking of that prospect tourney, let's get right into it. So we're going to be doing the Xbox side things first, and obviously that was a big game. Again, coming from the side of things, we're starting off with Heart Crushers versus Above It All, and this one was a barn burner from literally game 5. Everything was played out. Again, Heart Crushers literally almost made it to the reverse sweep area and basically took the game against Above It All in the reverse sweep. But Above It All stood tall and basically got it out. Obviously, let's get some to the highlights. So you can see right here, Hurt with the pop getting from Zay Flu for the 3. And again,
Hurt is
Easy,
a dog, man.
Yeah, man. It's crazy how Hurt basically played in this tournament and just the effort he put in, and just can't get the W, can't get the eligibility out of it. But again, as I said, Vector and his team played very well in this series, and they rightfully deserve to get the W and get the eligibility as well. The defense, I was really thoroughly impressed how they play defense, especially against some of the top teams in the Xbox side. And I was thoroughly impressed at how the team played defensively against Flu and against how Hurt was basically playing, especially during his laps.
Right. Wanted to touch on the subject, like when we first revealed the brackets, I don't think nobody had any of these two teams, making it to the finals. So it just shows you, like, win your game, not your name. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty familiar with both teams over here. I wasn't pretty familiar with Vector. I knew Ado, I knew Stage Piece, but that Above It All team, they came out and they show why they deserve to win.
Yeah, man. Like as I said, like with the two teams that's basically kind of unknown. Like obviously, I think it was like a little bit of a known. Like hey, like Heart Crushers, not gonna really, be in the finals or at any point, but they will be kind of close because again, like people know about the team basically playing, but obviously you're not expecting Above It All like a Vector or a Hurt to basically get into the finals, but here we are. Like they basically came off from chemistry. no exciting prospects whatsoever. Not like a lot of people knew about them from the beginning, and basically they just played their own brand of basketball and they got here by themselves. And as I said, Vector went in. He basically claimed that spot by himself. He literally put the team on his back and was putting up points. Same thing for Hurt, same thing for Flu on the respective ends.
Yeah, it was an extremely good series, and you always want to see these finals go to a game 5 and put on a show for everybody. And it went to the final seconds, of course.
Listen, this whole series, West was literally like screaming, yelling.
Screaming, yeah, I heard him.
Yeah, he didn't know how to control himself. JT and Devin was just in shock and awe of how things was going around. And again, the main big point of this game, as I said, the one that took it home for everybody was Vector. Vector put on a very good class right here as he pulls up for the 3 at the top of the key, hits that 3 over Hurt, and right now it's 37-34. Turn back the other way. Hurt is going to try to get some, give it out to Flu, which is a crazy jump shot. Again,
only 25.
26% right there. Then Flu right here with a good take, getting them back down by 1, or back up by 1. Vector with balls of steel, taking that shot from the top of the key and knocking it down. Obviously now in late shot clock situation.
Oh man, 57%.
Sub or goated right here is going to take the free throw, but misses the free throw.
90, was like a 92 right there.
And then they had 2 seconds that you can see right there. The cut was open by Goodlock. It wasn't registered. This is going to be the final shot of the game with Flu catches it. Good contest right there from Ado. And that's how the series ends, with your victors above it all getting the W.
That was tough. I feel like, I think a big difference between these amateur prospects and these professionals is like closing out games. I believe that's a big skill gap that a lot of prospects have to learn and eventually do, is closing out games is a skill gap in itself. You know what I'm saying? Keeping composure, maintaining yourself, finding that like as you saw, that cut was open, and then they didn't drop anything really, to be honest. It was just like a slide right there and tough shot, especially in a game where finishing is so OP and you have 2 seconds on the clock right there. Maybe even going at the rim and hope for a foul, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, the way the game was going, like Flu was getting those type of
shots
to the paint, and Hurt, is always good for a potential like shot or a pop or something like that. So I was kind of surprised they didn't run anything towards the left side, especially after that cut by Goodlock that was appeared to be open, especially from the beginning side of things. It was kind of weird that they didn't try to run anything from that left side or try to have some movement on the left side of the court. But again, real reason why they lost is just they could not contain Vector. Vector basically put up points. He got points very quickly, shooting from the top of the key, dragging out the screens to Goated. Goated, sometimes will show a little bit of pop, sometimes will roll, give defenses fits, and the defense was just immaculate. That was a gritty defensive game all series. Throughout the whole series, literally every game was gritty. I've not yet seen a game out of that series that didn't go from like 60 points or anything. It literally went to like 40, 30 points, 50-point area, which is, like some cases is like an average game, but you know what I'm saying, like that right there shows me that both teams wanted it, and it almost came down to literally a reverse sweep, but above it all, hanged on and got the victory.
Right. I feel like that's how it is really in pre-draft. A lot of defense being played, guards still figuring out the game, people figuring out the game, the meta builds, all that stuff like that. So, defense never goes away, right? And especially with all these rotations that people coming up with and people coming out with YouTube videos, rotations like that, defense is only get easier. So I feel like with pre-draft come along, it's really who labs the game the most, who gets better at the right time, who gets better faster, and how do you market yourself to get yourself drafted.
Exactly, man. And I hope, especially how they played in the Open, or pretty much the Venom Open finals, that after all this, they continue to play and continue to do whatever, but who may never know, these prospects, you know what I'm saying, like once they get that eligibility, they kind of now they on the clock now to basically get their name out there. You know what I'm saying? Now you already got your name out there. Now you're trying to proceed it more, make it more overlapping, make people notice you even more by time combine time. So it'll be interesting to see how they do it. On the other end, though, Heart Crushers, they gotta do it again. They're gonna have to find another way to basically get in the tournament and try to get eligibility again. Good effort, as I said, good tournament run, just cannot get it done.
Yeah, and I have no doubt that they're gonna go far in another tournament. You know, they already have the chemistry is there. Obviously, as you can see, they just gotta fix the little stuff, and I think they can make another run and possibly win another tourney.
Well, we'll see in the coming times. We got a couple of attorneys, and we also got the PS5 side of the Hornets Venom open, ready and locked. And this one, I think nobody expected this team to basically get in and get it out the mud like that. But Flats and 5 definitely deserved it. And as we turn into the highlights against Flats and 5 versus right here, Fear Potential. And give me your thoughts about the series from what you thought about Fear Potential literally beating Energy, which is a really good team, by the way. They beat them. They basically get to the finals. They beat a good team, by the way, with Glizzy and the rest of them. And now facing this Flats and 5 team who dismantled Untitled against Antoine and the rest of the team. So now they facing off against each other. And this was just a statement series win by Flats and 5. Like, they came out for war. They took very smart shots, really played great defense. Just tell me how your reaction just seeing Flats and 5 like literally just getting it out the mud and getting the W.
Right. Well, I knew Flats in for a long time. All around brand. They've been around for a while in the 2K community, and I knew the pieces coming into this tourney. Boot, Leche. I know that whole team, top bottom. Same thing with Fair Potential. You know, this is the same team that they took to Philly and everything like that. So they've had chemistry. So both these teams have chemistry coming to this series. And a thing to really notice is a big distinction between both Xbox and PlayStation 5 is that PlayStation uses a lot of inside centers, you know?
Right.
And Xbox, they use a lot of poppers. So different style plays for different consoles. You know, both teams here using both inside. I think Fear Potential is using a popper, Boots on a 7-3, so there's a difference right there. I think Fear Potential, they just wanted it more, as you can see when they got the 3-0 sweep. They're playing for each other, playing for one another. You know, very underrated prospects. Not many people know of them and know of their talents, but I think once you come into that underdog mentality, you come into a tourney that nobody expected you to win. What else do you have to lose? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every dog has their days. So they came in here, took care of business, they swept, got the league 20 spots, and now they just got to keep riding on the momentum.
Definitely the way that they played throughout the series, especially beating some of the top of the creme of the creme of prospects out there, was crazy. And nothing to put note on is basically Boot, you know, Leche, Byrie Irving, who's been playing the game ever since last year and we know him as Brian around the pro community. He definitely stepped his game up. JT was even in the booth, was like, this man right here, he's going off. Not to give him any disrespect, but just like, I'm surprised. He was just so surprised by the growth of his play mostly, and he was just utterly shocked how they was just playing as a unit against a really good, you know, one possibly a 2K Pro, you know, in green light, obviously. And then also that, like, a bunch of solid prospect that showed out last year, especially in Lawrich. And then also some solid prospect as far as and Don't Miss, and also and Hoodieville as well. So just the simple fact of the matter, like, they basically played out, not only beat this team 3 times out of best of 5, like literally sweeping them, but also just, you know, in convincing fashion. You can see right here, Leche stops, gets the pump fake,
So
shoots up the
patient.
three, just the
So
patience.
patient.
Just
Lecce, he's a very good game manager. Extremely good game manager. Very patient point guard, and that's what you gotta be in this 2K. You know, like especially with how volume plucks are and steals are. You gotta pick your spots, get to know where you want to get to, and and basically just manage the game. That's really all it is in this game, and he does a tremendous job of doing that. As you can see here, 24 points, 4 assists, 0 turnovers. Big key factor, 0 turnovers right there.
You can see at the end, Flats in 5 dominate the competition, gets the Venom Open PS5 Finals, and gets the W against Fear Potential. Thoughts and basically anything that you would like to say as far as the Feared Potential side, because I know Greenlight and them were really pushing hard. They again had an extort run in the tournament, basically beating out some of the top teams that's out there, some of the top prospect teams out there, which include I think also Execution. They beat them out and basically get to the finals now. To not only that, lose in a sweep to Flats and 5, who really play good. Boot really put a stamp in that game. Lecce and Byrie as well, but Fear Potential has still have more shots going on. I feel as though Greenlight obviously was trying to carry that team to the end. What do you potentially say to a person like Greenlight who did not get eligibility but is considered potentially to get back in the league?
Greenlay is a phenomenal point guard, a great floor general, extremely good shooter, and he rallies his troops like as they should. They have chemistry with each other. They just need to fix the little things, just like Heart Crushers. It's always the little things. The little things get you over the top. You know what I'm saying? With them, this is not the last time we're going to see them. They might even win the next tourney or the tourney after that, whatever the case may be. But they have phenomenal prospects on there, 1 through 5. Greenlight, Hoodie Veil, Law Rich, J Snacks, Ant Don't Miss. Everybody knows what they can do. And I just feel like maybe a couple film sessions, talk over like what went wrong there. Because they had a couple close games. It comes down to 1 or 2 possessions. But sometimes 1 or 2 possessions just break the game. That's just how it is. When it's 2 dog fight teams, you gotta see who wants it more. And that's it. This won't be the last time that we see Fear Potential. They're phenomenal.
Yeah, for sure. I feel as though they are gonna be back, just like Heart Crushers and just like other teams that's out there. They're gonna definitely put out their names out there for sure. Everybody knows of them already. As one of the top PS5 teams that's out there. So it's not gonna be very hard to see them potentially win a tournament here and there. Just got to see which one it is and how they're going to compete and if they actually end up doing it. So we'll see as the progress go for there. But congratulations to Flats and 5. All 5 of them get into the combine and get into the player pool for the NBA 2K League draft to potentially get drafted by a team, and we will see from there. Speaking of prospects, that's basically getting into things. The Hornets did not just stop there with the winners. All 10 players obviously got into the eligibility, but it's also the prospect badge that Wes from the Hornets GT team gave out, and congratulations to the PS5 side winner, which is Glizzy. Glizzy getting the PS5 side. He will get the prospect badge from that side, getting 24.4 points per game and averaging 1.1 steals, 63% from the field and 50 from the three-point line, basically hitting half of his threes in this tournament. Your thoughts on Glizzy getting the prospect badge right here?
I mean, was there really ever
No,
a question
not.
about who was going to
Not.
get it? Glizzy is a phenomenal talent, someone that we've known the community for years now. I remember watching him in last year's combine. I think he went undefeated, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't fact check that, but I'm pretty sure he did. A phenomenal talent, a lottery pick in this upcoming draft here, and no, I don't think anybody else deserved it, to be honest, aside from Glizzy.
Now, we also have the prospect badge from the Xbox side, and I think this one literally had West in have a fever literally just thinking about it, or just even have cold sweats just thinking about it, because it was a lot of good talent in the Xbox side. But this one goes out to Bougie, who was scoring 28 points for To The Moon, 10 assists, 3 steals, 70.8 field goal percentage, and shooting half of his threes and knocking it down. Bougie getting the prospect badge from the Xbox side. Your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, Bougie is another guard that's actually like came to the scene. His growth has been tremendous. You know, he's getting a lot better. 28 points and 10 assists is ridiculous.
Mm,
70%. That's literally 2K numbers. You know what I'm saying? No, he absolutely deserved it. It was tough that nobody on the Heart Crushers got it, but maybe that's a good thing for Heart Crushers, because so they don't have to replace nobody and bring that
right.
full fight back.
And again, this is kind of tough to The Moon, because, you know, like, I know that team basically consists of Bougie and Boxy. You know, they both
Yeah.
brothers and everything. So now him, you know, having prospect eligibility, kind of, you know, besides from them possibly playing in NPBA or you know your simple tournaments from that point on, and you competing against, you know, the pros. Uh, Now your teammates have to look for another guard to basically lead them there. I don't think anybody really gives off that productivity more than Bougie. So now if you're having to find that guard to potentially bring you into eligibility, has your team is looking for eligibility right now, it's gonna be a little bit tough for To The Moon, but hopefully they can find that player. For congratulations to Bougie regardless, because again, the eligibility hard earned, especially with 28 points and 10 assists. Like, that's definitely deserved, and I think he 100% gets that easily. And he's going to be a name to look out for, especially in the late first round or mid first round to late first round, possibly even the second round. We'll see from that point on. I know this guard class is stacked, so we'll see how things go. All right, moving on to one part of a tournament, and to another part of the tournament is right now what we call the MPBA Gauntlet, and this one is a doozy between Liquid Aftermath and Eyeball Empire. So let's get into that really quickly. Eyeball Empire basically had the lead at some point. I think it was 1-0 in game one, and then Liquid Aftermath end up getting the tie in the series 1-1 for that game too. And this one is for all the marbles right here. Obviously, Liquid Aftermath and Empire basically going right at it. You can see Empire basically going on a 8-2 run to pretty much begin the game off, but everything kind of slowed down in that second half, and obviously Liquid Aftermath just went cruising from that point on. Look at that shot from Jiden, getting the 3, hitting it right there, 8-11. Then Lux wanted to pull it back out, gonna give it out to Peroxide for easy 2 right there. Easy, your thoughts about how this game went down? I'm pretty sure you watched it from the Liquid side.
Oh yeah, there's two phenomenal brands going at it, Eyeball, Liquid. This Aftermath team has been on a tear lately. With Mooch, Jiden, Lux, Oreo, and King Peroxide. They've been on a tear lately. They've been beating everyone and everyone. You know what I'm saying? I feel like at the beginning of every year, there's always that one Xbox team that comes out and just dominates. Last year it was this Eyeball team. They've won. Pretty sure they won like MPBA, WR, ADBA, everything at the beginning of the year. And now it's Aftermath's turn, and I don't think they've lost or dropped a game yet, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, they've been on a tear, and so this is just them keeping on marching to their greatness.
Well, indeed, right here, as they basically are in a tough battle with Eyeball Empire, but basically end up getting the W over them. But you can see from the stats again, like mostly it seems like though from the game and just from the series of those, Eyeball Spam pretty much had to create for his teammates. I don't think it was not much that Trey did besides from this third game, where he started to, you know, come alive in that second half. Otherwise than that, it was basically neck and neck between the guards. It was Mooch and Jiden basically going against Spam and Trey for the most part. until the very end, and obviously Liquid Aftermath defense prevails. You can see this pass go to Peroxide, hits a wide open Lux. Lux was on one for game 3, by the way, hitting, I think, literally 3 of 5 from the 3-point line, literally hitting that, and then also getting some steals on the fast break as well, and scoring and basically creating for his teammates. Oreo right here with aggressive defense. Spam looking for something, can't find anything. Goes up with the crossover, gets the layup right over Oreo and puts it in. I don't know how Spam does it right there, especially on cold, but hey, he did it. Mooch pass, give it out to Oreo for the 3, and you can see the sleeve kind of slipping away. 48-38 with a minute left to go. Mooch with the ball, he's gonna hit him with a very cagey pass fade. Look at it. Wait a second. Whoop! Hits him. Shoots the midi, knocks it down with the green, and this one, just for the marbles, let's play the audio. Oh my God! Don't! Give it to him! Oh, look at him! Look at him! Oh my God! Oh! And the celebration went on from that point on. They was basically clowning Spam for that little telegraph pass, the interception for the W, pretty much, and that's how things end right there. It has Liquid Aftermath for the Xbox 21 season 21 MPBA Gauntlet. They will now move on to the finals to face off against one of these teams right here, which is going to be either Execution, who just beat up Rise Up last time, I mean not last time, for their game, is going to face off against Put the Work In. One of those two teams are going to go to the finals to face them. And that should be an exciting series. But talk to me right here, Easy. What is your thoughts about pretty much how Liquid Aftermath handled that series, especially going in adversity, getting the reverse sweep, and getting the W against a really tough Eyeball Empire team?
Right. Again, like I said, that Aftermath team has been on a tear. They have every type of momentum going forward. The chemistry is intact right now. They're clicking on all cylinders, you know. And sometimes it's not about when you get good. It's just if you get sparking at the right time. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
they're sparking at the right time. They have yet to drop a series against anybody. So,
And the most impressive thing about the whole thing is just how they played under like some adversity too. Like, it's come to certain points of time where I go on the stream and I'm looking at it and I'm just like, they arguing a little bit too much. Like they've been kind of panicking, and then next thing you know, the troops just calm down. Mooch is on his game. He secures his bread. Lux is on his game. He wants to secure the bread, and they just play. You know what I'm saying? They just get it out the mud from that point on, and they really just blow the game open against really good teams. And I can see it. And one of the most improving parts of, obviously, of Liquid Aftermath and just his game in general, he really wants to show out is Mooch. I feel like Mooch, especially with that league bench experience, coming off from a season where he didn't get drafted, which a lot of people felt like he should have got drafted in a draft, probably late by a team, and then showing, on the league bench, like, hey, I can play in the league, just gotta give me some reps and, give me some understanding. Now he's coming back for a vengeance with this pre-draft, and hopefully, he gets his name called, especially for the draft. But he's doing a great job making people respect him now, and also making sure that people put him in mock draft and put him in boards now to get him in the draft.
yeah. Mooch has done a phenomenal job. Unfortunately, he didn't get in last year in the season 5 draft pool, and he's here now. You know what I'm saying? He was on the bench for the season, and he came in when he played for the Blazers. He came in and showed out, and now it shows he could be a potentially lottery pick here for a team here, even for the expansion team. Who knows? But again, it's not about how you start; it's about how you end, and when you get started at the right time. And he needs to just keep his momentum going towards it up into the draft and never get complacent.
Well, that is a big W for Liquid Aftermath, and again, Eyeball Empire. It's gonna see them again, definitely. Gonna see them in definitely the PS5 and Xbox side, as they, we already know how they dominate from both sides of the bracket, if anything, or both sides of each console from anything. And I'm pretty sure Eyeball Spam is gonna want his revenge, especially against Liquid Aftermath. against the point guard matchup between Mooch. So hopefully we'll get to see more matchups like that, especially coming up in future UPA leagues. Again, we still have the WR playoffs coming up soon, or pretty much the Final Four and the finals of the WR playoffs coming up soon. And then obviously ADBA is just starting just in a few minutes. But speaking of that, keeping it on the MPBA side, we got the PS5 gauntlet still going through, and we already know the winner of one of the matches, which is, I believe, is Why Not Us beating Fear Potential to move on against Zero Gaming. So right now it's going to be Undisputed and Built for This on one side, and then Why Not Us and Zero Gaming, which is going to be a really good one, dude. Both of these series are going to be really good, which they will face off and potentially go into the finals against each other. So I cannot wait for those matchups. Who you think is going to win for the PS5 side of the bracket, and how you think it's going to play out for the Final Fours?
So Undisputed, Built for the Zero Gaming, and Why Not Us, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So with that, that build for this team, a lot of pros in there, a lot of good prospects as well too. Antoine, Symptoms, Logic, Perm, Amazing Happens. I feel like I got Built for This on that side. They've been clicking as well too. When it comes with Why Not Us and Zero Gaming, I will probably pick Why Not Us, because that whole team top to bottom is full professionals. I feel like they are a top 3 team right now on PlayStation 5. And so it's going to be hard to knock them off. Their defense is elite, and Kenny runs the show over there, and Reese the God, what I'm saying, a phenomenal player in the league.
Most definitely.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for Zero, but they have a lot of great prospects over there too. The Real Tay 614, Gazuli, Bag Motion, DJ Too Cold, and Willow Sauce. So it's going to be a dogfight, but I'm going to have to go with Why Not Us on that.
I think Why Not Us is going to basically take it over Zero, even though I love the game of Real Tay, and I feel like Real Tay should definitely get more looks, especially in mock drafts. I'm seeing this, I'm seeing names of other point guards. I was like, Real Tay showed out in the UPA, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard to put, another team over them. But I feel like Why Not Us right now, the way they're clicking and the way they've been playing with each other, especially with Kenny and especially with other players, they've just been doing a really good job. Basically beating out not only Fear Potential, but also beating out some really good teams that's in front of them as well. So they move on, get to the finals. And I think, honestly, Built for This beats Undisputed. It's tough, but I feel like Built for This definitely is going to get to the finals. They have a really good dynamic with their team already as it is. And I can just see them actually, going against each other in a clash. Who do you ultimately want to win? I'll say Kenny team. I think Why Not Us does it. I think they get the big gauntlet win, even though it's not, considered a big win in terms of everybody, because it's an open, but still, I consider anything an MPBA open, ADBA open, a WR open, I still consider that a big W, because again, that legacy points, Nap is watching, so please
Legacy points.
Get that W. And here we will now transition into one of the biggest surprises, and we're gonna basically bring up the numbers here real quick and just go from here. So just to give you guys a heads up, and easy, I'm pretty sure you know this too, which is kind of crazy. The chances of the NBA 2K League draft lottery that just happened around October 13th, this was the odds of every team that is potentially could get the number 1 pick, obviously excluding teams that made it to the playoffs or put themselves out due to contention in the playoffs. Blazers 15.1, Grizzlies 15.1, Hornets 13.9. We got the Lakers and / Raptors pick, depending on where it goes, basically 13.9 from that point on, and the rest is down. This is how the NBA 2K League draft played out from this point on, and we will play the video just now for you.
Nets gaming crew. want to briefly say, please make sure you stay tuned to all our socials because the NBA 2K League Draft Prospect Series has already started. Hornets Venom is having that great tournament. We have more special announcements coming. I don't want to say too much, but just be aware of something about becoming a pro. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. But hey, let's go. 0 on the clock. Who has the number 2 and number 1 pick? I'm ready. Let's do it. Oh my goodness. This is crazy.
2.1% for what? Let's go.
2.1%. But we got to hold on.
Wow.
Nets Gaming Crew.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The winner of the NBA Draft Lottery going to the Atlanta Hawks. Number 2 pick going to the Brooklyn Nets. And then literally the rest follows with the Grizzlies, the Blazers, the expansion teams, which is NBL. The Hornets getting number 6 after getting a 13.5. The Lakers ended up retaining their pick for the Raptors. Raptors does not get a first round pick at all for this draft lottery. And then you got the Kings, Pacers, Cavs, Heat Check Gaming, Gen G, and Dukes Gaming, or Dukes Finitos. So easy. Seeing that and just seeing the Atlanta Hawks, especially the odds as happening, what is your initial thoughts? And then 2, how did you react to this news when you saw it?
So in precedent years, right, typically the team with the highest percentages rarely ever get like the top 3 picks, to be honest with you. Right? Mavs last year, stuff like that. So my top 3 picks were like anywhere between in the middle pack, the Cavs, the Nets, the Kings. And, you know, as we can see, the Nets get it. And then the Grizz with the 15.1% chance get the 3rd pick. But the Hawks soaring out of, you know what I'm saying? Coming
Just
out of the
out of
sky,
the-
grabbing the number 1 pick with a 2.1% chance. Crazy, crazy, crazy odds. And they now they hold the number 1 pick. You know, that's just crazy to me.
I'm just shocked and appalled because, you know, obviously I'm the scout for the Hornets, so it's like just seeing this graphic makes me puke. I'm sorry, I have to say it. You know, just the overall fact that I'm seeing we're number 6 and not, you know, 4, 3, maybe 2. But I'm happy for the Atlanta Hawks, specifically for Wes Jordan, and pretty much Kurt as well. Kurt getting the 2nd round pick after a really good defensive season, a defensive team. The team just didn't really have much of an offensive punch. So now you're getting that guard that you could desperately need to pretty much get your team going again. And I felt as though, like, if they had that offensive guard from the beginning of the season, pretty much, I think the team would be different. Again, they started off at a very good record to begin the season, and then it just went downhill from that point on. But with the Atlanta Hawks, again, like, getting the number 1 pick now, you got a lot of questions, got a lot of decisions as well. So the main thing that I want to ask you, Easy, as we bring it back to the screen, right? The main thing I want to ask is, what are you doing as far as retention if you're the Atlanta Hawks right now, and what are you doing as far as the other teams that got into that top 5 picks?
Right. Obviously, this is just what I would personally do, and not what any organization would do.
Right.
With the Hawks, you know, you have the number 1 pick. Obviously, you're keeping C's potentially hot shot as well too. Someone that you traded for back, was it season right before season 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And then you can get a top shooting guard or top point guard even if you wanted to, if C's is willing to move to the 2. Like, you never know, it's just wherever for fit, right?
Mm-hmm.
IC's been hooping, so maybe you bring him back, or this is a plethora of locks in this pool. You know what I'm saying? And then so yeah, I would say probably like C's, potentially IC, and definitely hot shot. If not, just bring back 2 C's and hot shot, and then you go get your number 1 pick, your number 1 pick guard, and then you trickle down to the rest of it. You lock in your power forward, which is a plethora of them. You know what I'm saying? There's a pool full of locks, great locks and great power forwards, and also you don't know what other teams are retaining too. So
I also want to bring out too, like again, we don't know what teams are going to be retaining anybody as far as locks, as far as guards, as far as anything, and obviously it is still up in the air as far as the mystery goes. But obviously you want to keep your franchise player in C's, and you want to keep his counterpart, which is Hot Shot. So you traded for him for a reason. You would think, yeah, I got to keep him because I traded for him for a reason. I had to trade away some assets away from it, so I want to see this through. So I want to see how C's and Hot Shot, played together, and they actually played well. It's just that the surrounding crew wasn't enough to get them over the hump. So now, getting that first pick, now you got a lot of decisions whether to basically get rid of potentially Witness, who I think plays solid but not good enough to basically get there. But I think he will find another team for sure. Icy, who came along late and kind of got adjusted very quickly and actually played solid for them, especially for his time with the Atlanta Hawks. And then put back as well, you also got to consider him as well. So it's going to be a tough decision. Personally, if it was me, I'm definitely getting that number one pick and definitely taking a guard somewhere to basically fit with C's and have C still at the point guard spot. The only person that's definitely in consideration at this point, and we all know who it is, but it's definitely Glizzy at this point, to basically take for number one, and then basically you look at your picks at that point, whether you get a lock or whether you get a power forward at that point, and then obviously keep C's and Hot Shot and fill out the roster from that point on. Again, we have seen crazier thing happen where we've seen the number one pick got traded last year as well.
right,
Like with the Mavs. So I don't know what Wes is thinking. I really honestly think Wes is going to keep that pick no matter what. I think he's tight roping it. I think he's going to want that dual guard tandem, and then he's going to find his luck, especially with the available locks that's possibly not going to get retained, and then obviously the lock class that's coming in right now, and then obviously circle around for a power forward that could possibly give your team some veteran experience, and you make it work from that point on. Hopefully the Hawks can get into the playoffs next year, coming in for the 2K season. Next on the list is definitely the Brooklyn Nets. Now the Brooklyn Nets getting the second pick, which is really, really fortunate. I think this is a perfect landing spot for them, because I feel as though if they would have got the number one pick at any point, or number two pick, either which way, I think they still go in point guard. But who knows, because we seen a good showcase of Jaden playing the point guard last year. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we may never know, like, hey, well, we want to put Glizzy at the 2 and move Jaden to the 1, but it's also a potential chance that, hey, you get Greens, you put him at the 1 and you put him with Jaden, and then you make the team work from that point on, and hopefully it goes from there. What is your thoughts about the Nets getting number 2?
The Nets, they did a phenomenal job with what they had last year in last year's season 5 draft, to be honest with you. They had two third round picks, a late second, if I'm not mistaken, something along those lines. And OG, he did a phenomenal job drafting Chicago Streets, Steez, and then in the middle of the season, obviously they traded Faiz for Jaden, and King Hod. Again, a great defensive team throughout the season, just couldn't get over the hump on offense. And what better than to have the number 2 pick and potentially getting the number 1 point guard off the board?
I mean, listen, they got the pick. They got the number 2 pick. They're in desperate need of offense. Bring in a guy that is going to put that ball in the basket. That's all I got to say to Kurt right there, because you already have a really good surrounding cast already with the team that you have, especially on the defensive ratings. The Nets, I think, rated around the top 10 in defense last year, but just could not buy a bucket. It was literally in the bottom 20 in offense. So the fact that you're now getting that number 2 pick, you're going to get a really good guard to pair it with Jaden, who was kind of the offensive load aside from shots as well. that's out there. Those two was really the offensive load for that team. Now you're getting experience or pretty much a really good talented point guard or shooting guard here that is going to get your team a little bit more up in the standings, definitely, and hopefully into the playoffs for next season. The last two I'm going to basically touch on definitely is the Grizzlies and the Blazers getting the 3 and 4. Obviously, with a high odds, they get the 3 and 4 pick. Talk to me about the Grizzlies process. They just lost BP. They just lost AAA, right, with Authentic African. Now they get the 3rd pick, and they can go in any direction. And again, J Money can swap these positions. He can literally go to the 2. You can literally go to the 3, the 4, the 5, wherever you want to put him. And then you still got to decide whether you want to keep him or not, and if you want to rebuild completely from the scratch up. So give me your thoughts about the Grizzlies and what you think they should do going into the draft, knowing that they have the number 3.
Right. Again, and they're in a terrific spot. I felt like the issue with the Grizz gaming for last year was the identity of the team. You know, like everybody, I'm pretty sure everybody swapped positions at some point during the season. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like you come in here, you get a top 3 point guard. Can't go wrong with any of these prospects, man. Like especially when you have the top 3 pick. You come in here and you set yourself an identity. You know what I'm saying? J Money, we'll see what he wants to play. We can play. He can play 1 through 5. So it's just, I feel like the team, they just need to find their identity and stick to it. Aside from just having everybody just go around playing whatever positions that they need, they can. You know what I'm saying? So
I do give them credit though, especially going into kind of like mid-season. They kind of try to fix everything around. They did make it into the live event for the turn, I believe, and like this team actually didn't do bad in the regular season. It's more 3-3 and 5-5. They just could not get over the hump, and ultimately at the end they just could not get it done. Obviously with the guards, and obviously just how the team was. Again, like you said, the lineups kept on switching back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So hopefully they find an identity. Like you said, I know a team that needs an identity, especially after last season, an abysmal season from the Blazers. And I'm sorry for anybody in the Blazers organization, but it was bad. And again, the trade that shocked the world especially was unguardable, getting traded out from right there. But it did land them this pick. But also just as far as the record goes, the Blazers 5 gaming literally now at number 4. Give me your thoughts on what the Blazers need to do, especially with some people retiring and obviously some people not coming back, like Bucket and the rest of the squad.
I feel like it's deja vu. Like I feel like they were in this position last year.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, they had the number 3 pick.
I believe so.
It was really around 3 or 4, and obviously they took unguardable there. Personally, I feel like they should bring in a guard that they are confident in, and someone that's potentially maybe even a veteran, depending on how retainments go, because it feels like last year it was just a lot of things going on within the organization, not just on the court but off the court as well too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I just feel like right there is that they just have some type of structure. Make sure their guy is the guy that they want. You know what I'm saying? And don't draft 2 shooting guards. This is point blank. Don't draft 2 shooting guards, man. And the Blazers have always had a phenomenal defense. You know what I'm saying? With randoms, breadwinner, can guard Rob. So again, they just need to fix the structure on and off the court and find their guy.
I know for a fact that the Blazers have 3 first-round picks, so they're gonna be really looking for.
They feeling good.
They feeling good right now, and they're in a good spot, especially with number 4 spot as well. They gonna get their guard easily. Potentially get another guard swinging around for the shooting guard area, which they can capitalize off of. Hopefully it worked out, and then from that point on, later round in the first round, they can get that lock. They can get a lock. They already got randoms. They can get a center. If they don't feel comfortable with the center, they can get their 4 if they don't feel comfortable. They have a lot of options after that point, and it's going to be high-end talent. It's going to be the creme de creme of that 3, 4, and 5 positions, no matter what happens. So they are in really good position. It's just, can they pay off with the picks, and is it going to be the right picks? Because they was in the same spot last year, especially with Unguardable. They traded Unguardable to the Magics, which I still feel as though that should never have went down. But hey, they traded him away. They get in good spots, so hopefully they pay off of it with the 3 first-round picks that's coming up. Now, lastly, touching on this, we would make this very quick. Obviously, the expansion team, NBL, Oz, or pretty much the Australian team, getting the number 5 pick. That's going to be very interesting on who they pick, because again, like last year, we already knew this was Mexico team, Dux Infinitos basically picking in, so we kind of know what personnel they kind of wanted to bring in. This case now, with another expansion team coming in, basically making it now a 25-team league, you now have NBL coming in. You don't know who they're gonna pick at all. We're literally in the dark. Obviously, you would think it would be a point guard, but again, as past shown us, especially in the 2K league, anything can happen. So NBL right now at number 5. I don't want to talk about my team. So easy, you can do that one. I don't want to talk about that. You can handle. What is your thoughts about the Hornets basically getting number 6?
A tough situation for them. Obviously, had one of the highest odds to get a top 3 pick. Anywhere in the top 4 would be nice. No, and unfortunately for them, they couldn't land it in. And the Hawks just swooped in and got the number 1 pick. Number 6 is not bad. Depending on, I feel like I always tell people, like, people that draft right before you and right after you are your biggest enemies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Wes can pull it through, but if I was him, I would try somehow, some way, get up in that top 4. You definitely want to try to draft before NBL Oz Gaming. If not, they're not in a terrible spot. Top 6 with a pool full of good guards. And there's more guards getting added every day, as we can see. It's a tough situation for them, but I feel like they can do the best with what they got, and just gotta get to this scouting, man.
We will see from that point on, and I got a lot of work to do apparently too. So hopefully we got something going for the number 6 or number 4. And finally, I'll touch on the teams that basically drop their picks or pretty much do not retain their picks. So obviously the biggest controversial pick that got traded last season was that Raptors pick, and obviously for good reason, because if the Raptors did not get top 5, they didn't retain their pick, and especially from what they traded and everything that happened, they're in a very bad position. And also now they do not get their first round pick. So now the Los Angeles Lakers Gaming, or pretty much Lakers Gaming, get number 7 in a very stacked guard class and a lot of talent to go around. What does the Lakers do right here, especially, and how do they go about potentially getting a pick, especially a team that made it to the playoffs, was kind of close, well, not too close, but kind of close to making some noise and potentially getting to the bad Bucks in that conference finals?
Right. Well, with the whole Lakers Gaming, right? The hire of Coach Nacho was probably the best thing that they did in franchise history, aside from drafting crazy number 1 overall. They were a bottom tier team, alongside with the Bucks, and I feel like once you bring in that coach, that structure, that's when you're taken seriously, right?
Right.
Bucks was also a very bad season right before they hired Lance, and as you can see, one season turnover, and they won a championship. you know, lands Coach of the Year. Same thing with Lakers gaming; they were potentially one series away too from going to the semifinals or the finals. They're just missing a couple pieces on that team, and with that number 7 pick, they can probably potentially trade it away if they don't feel like they have anything that they like there and get more assets back,
Or
or
trade
they can,
up
yeah, yeah,
and
they
potentially
can,
give away a big factor player somewhere to a team to acquire a higher guard or a higher
yeah,
player in itself. So it's gonna be very chaotic in that 7th pick. For the 8th pick, from what I understand, I'm just gonna go back to this graphic real quick of the draft lottery odds real quick just to see it. But from what I understand, the Kings basically take the Cavaliers pick right here. Since the Cavaliers didn't make it into the top 5, the Kings take that. Pacers take the Kings pick from that point on. And then obviously the Cavs take the Mavs pick, since the Mavs was able to get into the playoffs and they did not accede to the top 5 or top 7 in their picks. So obviously really good payoffs from these teams. Kings getting the 8th, 9th going to the Pacers. I think that 9th pick is kind of interesting as well for the Pacers, considering their guard play with Reed and Vandy. I don't know, and then also Wolf retiring, it's going to be a little bit tough. And then number 10 going to the Cavs, which is not, a bad thing, particularly because the Cavs started to get it going a little bit at the late of the season. They get a player now at number 10 that can potentially help them out, probably beef up a little bit on the defensive end or the offensive end, depending on how they want to go about it. And then, the rest fills out. Heat Check Gaming, Gen G, Dukes, Finitos right there to finish it off. So that is your draft lottery, and that's how everything goes. Final thoughts on things. We're going to go now to the mock draft. And this is what Champ put out there for ESGN for the NBA 2K League mock draft. Your thoughts and opinions before we get into the final closing remarks of the show.
Well, the top three prospects right here have always been the, you know what I'm saying, unless something unfortunate happens and someone drops out of the pool for whatever reason, but praying and knocking on wood that none of that happens, But those top 3 prospects right there are basically a solidified. It's just whatever order, whatever order that the case may be. And now with the Hawks, with potentially with the number 1 pick and potentially keeping it, you definitely see Glizzy going there. And then number 2 and number 3 is interchangeable. It's a matter of fit. It's a matter of who interviews better with who, and a matter of who they want, who their guy is. With number 4 and number 5, pretty interesting. Depends again on how the NBL Oz team does in the pool and how they draft prior to this picking in the draft. I felt like Bray is a phenomenal player for them. If he does drop there, could play 1 through 5 at a high level. Extremely good prospect. Same thing with Claude. As you know, him and Glizzy have been dominating together for quite some time now, and I've had the courtesy of coaching both those players, both great players, non-egotistical. They're always willing to put in the hard work, always willing to listen, always willing to get better. So, yeah, I think this could be the way it goes. It depends. Like I said, it's a long time to the draft. Anything can happen. People can go up, people can go down, depending on your stock. So I just feel like you just got to keep grinding.
And definitely, from what I see, I say this for sure. The 1, 2, and 3 is definitely going to be what it is, as it is. I feel like Glizzy goes number 1. I feel like Greens go number 2. I feel like Spam goes number 3 for sure. I feel as though it could, change up depending on how teams' dynamics and what does happen as far as trades go, because I don't want to just say this is going to be the solidified top 3, but this is definitely going to be the top 3 in no order, like whatsoever. It's going to be Glizzy, it's going to be Green, it's going to be Spam, no matter what. Things get interesting when it hits 4, 5, 6, 7. That's when things, I feel like, gets interesting, because you already know who's going to be the top 3 but you don't know who's gonna basically go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, from that point on, and who's gonna be the guards taken at that point. Because once the three top guards that everybody was kind of gushing over from last season, knowing that it's gonna be a top, guard class coming in, now you kind of dealing with instead of the S tier, now you're going to the A tier, of guards, which is still good. They're still going to be good. They're still going to basically help out your team. But for the teams that struck out from that point on, now you're going for, talent below at that point, which is going to be the tier A guards. And again, don't take offense. Anybody, do not take offense. This is literally how people are seeing it right now. I'm being dead honest as it is. I feel as though like Claude definitely is in that S tier as well, potentially. And you also got Mooch, you got names like Mooch, you got Real Tay, you got other players as well. Even Gazuli potentially can get into that top 10 for sure, or even into that top 15. So who knows? As I said, you got a lot of options. You can go at it from any point of view. It is tough to gauge, especially with no retention and protection period so far. So hopefully this stays the same, but I definitely, as I said, the top 3 picks is getting picked from right that point on. And speaking of how you can get into the NBA 2K League draft, into the pool, guys, you already know you got one tournament out the way. So let's bring on to the other tournaments. We have the Texas Ticket. The bracket play goes today. The registration ends October 15th, which would have been passed. It's from both PS5 and Xbox X series, both consoles. The championships will air at November 5th to November 6th on the MavGG channel. Make sure that you get your games in, especially in that if you already acquired the registration already ended, so you can't get in. But again, good shout out to them. 18 plus is a requirement. $12,000 in prize pool. Not only do you make it to the draft, you get that bread. 5 players getting the split between 12K is ridiculous. And I think the Texas Ticket is probably one of the most favorite tournaments of mine because of the simple fact that amount of money you make from that. Not only that, that's coming up, we also have the Bud Light draft eligibility tournament that's coming up for the Magic Gaming. Again, 21 plus to enter, which is a very unique tournament. Again, some of the younger players cannot play in it. For people that's 21 and over that want to get into the league and definitely try to play in this, the brackets will be announced on October 21st. I think it's still time to get in, but I'm pretty sure, again, 32 teams per console, it's pretty much filled up by then. So hopefully, if you did get in, you get into the Magic Gaming Bud Light draft eligibility tournament. And again, the tournament finals will basically air on October 28th. So please keep around that date. We got other tournaments as well, like the Brooklyn Nets tournament, who just decided, hey, we're going to drop this bombshell of a tournament out of nowhere from both sides. 16 team minimum, 32 teams max, with the winning team and the prospect badge recipients being handed out, and $100 registration. Half is going to the winner. It is literally 32 teams on both sides, so literally a stack total of 64 teams. 64 times 100, 6,400. Half of that, 32,000, or pretty much 3,200, going to the winner of the pot, which is a little bit good money in your pocket. And then again, the UPA rules is enforced for this one, so make sure you tune out to that one. Kind of surprised, Easy, that UPA rules is now being enforced from 2K League tournaments. Coming far away. I respect that for the pro-am community for sure. And last but not least, besides from the Toronto that's currently going and that's going to be on stage, we have the T-Wolves Gaming Invitational, which is going to be announced in full circuit how it's going to be done, and obviously the details will be announced. I'm pretty sure the details was already announced, but I just didn't really get in time. Again, they're going to be doing it from the Xbox and PS5 side. Going to be a really good one. I can't wait. I think last year they did a 3v3 tournament instead of a 5v5. I think this year they are going with the 5v5 here to seal it off. And last but not least, as I said, the Raptors, doing the top 4 qualified team, will be on stage to battle out for 2K League draft eligibility. Obviously, you must be a Canadian-born player to play in this. It's already been going. The winner of the bracket, or during that time, was 200K VC. The runner-up will get pretty much Uber Eats cards, $50. Obviously, you're playing for a spot for draft eligibility and a little bit of money to go with that, especially on the 3v3 side of things. So glad of the versatility that is coming in for these tournaments coming in. Last thing before we end off anything, easy, right? We are about to end off the show, end off the first night of League Press. One question that I have to say before we get off, what is your thoughts about players right now, prospects particularly, having their streams basically monetized and cut off basically to people that want to watch their games?
I feel like it's a very big part of the process. If you want to get drafted, there's a million games going on one, especially pre-draft. There's always WR, ADBA, and PBA, league tourneys, stuff like that. And there's only 1, 2, coaches, scouts at the organization, so they cannot watch every game at the same time. So to make it easier on yourself and themselves, upload your games, post it to YouTube, highlight it on Twitch. Basically, make it easier for yourself to be known. Like, hey, this is my gameplay. This is what I have to offer. This is my comms. This is who I'm beating. I'm being good, especially if you play a big talented team, full professionals. It shows that you can compete at that level. So why not show scouts and coaches like that as well too? So make it easier. Is not hard to do it. Trust me, I did a lot last year.
We could the main thing I take away from it is mostly like I do kind of understand why they would monetize, because again, it's like some people do have YouTubes and they do want to post it, for sake, and then some people just they hide it and they actually want to get a financial gain off of it from Twitch, because their Twitch either is actually doing really good and they actually want to get some more viewers and they actually want to get more subscribers to watch their games after the fact is done. So I do understand that if you are going to monetize as a prospect, right, if you are going to monetize your streams like that, your main focus should be uploading on YouTube, right? So that way the scouts know, like, hey, I can go here, I can watch your games, and I know what's going to be there. I know what game's going to be there. Win or lose, they're going to be there, right? For those, like you said, that do monetize and they don't post on YouTube, you're basically killing your chances. Scouts want to look at the game. They want to look at your bad performances, even your good performance, either which way. They want to look at your game just in general. So even if they are for sure like, hey, we're going to pick up this guy, but I kind of want to know his weakness. Now I don't know your weakness. You know what I'm saying? I don't know much about your weakness. I don't know if you struggle during a very bad blowout game, how you react. You know what I'm saying? It's things like that and that nature. So we just want to see that. We want to understand what we can do, especially if we want you for our organization. How are we gonna help you out? How are we gonna get you better? How are we gonna basically get you through adversity, just in case we do have adversity? And I think that's the main thing. And prospects, if you're gonna monetize, put it on YouTube. That's all I gotta say. Otherwise than that,
Right.
I appreciate the time that we have here for the NAPX League Press. It was fun doing this show, and it's fun to basically bring it back. Any last takes before we go? Easy.
Keep grinding, fellas. Your name will be called one day, man, and hopefully it's this upcoming draft, but keep grinding.
For sure. And then, as I said, for me, it's just basically continue to basically continue to basically put out your content. Make sure that you get your games in. Make sure that you're showing the scouts everything. Make sure you put your audio up. For God's sakes, people, put your audio up. I want to hear the comms. I want to hear everything that's going on to the games. I want to just see how you guys basically react to certain situations. I want to to see how you guys react in certain situations, especially through game time, and see how you play against these pros. Because listen, it's not going to be a very long pre-draft. That draft, literally, from what I'm hearing from rumored, is coming around that late January, mid-January time. So we'll see who's going to do what they got to do and who's not going to do what they got to do, and wonder why they didn't get drafted. So with that, I'm going to sign off. This has been NAPX League Press followed by with your host, Von DeJourno and Easy. We'll holla at you guys, and we're going to catch you the next time on our Twitch stream. We have From the Bench, which Easy is going to be premiering on, and it's going to be a really creative show. I can't wait for you guys to basically check it out. Followed by on Wednesday, it's going to be Prospect Nation coming up very soon. So you guys, we're going to have a lot of content coming out. Everybody else, peace out, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to League Press. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.